Thank you for joining Revival Gold. This is a really exciting time in the gold business, and we are really happy to be here today to tell you about Revival Gold and our Beartrack-Arnett Gold Project located in Idaho. It's 3 million ounces. It's a wonderful project with a team that is dedicated to putting it into production. And I'm really excited to tell you the story today. I would note our cautionary statement here. Please have a look at our forward-looking comments. The wonderful thing about gold is that the Federal Reserve cannot print gold. It's very rare, and gold deposits in good geography, good locations are becoming harder to find and even harder to put into production. We're positioned at exactly the right time here with a rising gold price and a real interest in new gold projects in good locations. We've built Revival Gold as a growth company in gold focused on advancing the Beartrack-Arnett Gold Project in Idaho. It's the largest past producing gold mine in the state of Idaho. It's 3 million ounces currently, and we're busy with a 10,000 meter drill program to continue to expand on that resource and a PEA with respect to a first phase heap leach project. We've got a lot of infrastructure to work with for that first phase heap leach project. We're going to be taking that PEA forward over the next few months, and we'll have it out before the end of the year. In the longer term, what we're looking to do is build out the mill potential in this project. We've got about 600,000 ounces of gold in the heap leach category and a further 2.4 million ounces in the mill category. And at the contemplated 20,000 tons a day that our resource consultants RPA conceptualized, we'd be looking at a 300,000 ounce a year producer. We've got a veteran team backed by Orion Mine Finance and other institutional investors. And here's the capital structure here. About 71 million shares outstanding, current share price of about $1.12 Canadian a share for a market cap of $80 million. There is street research, brokerage research covering the company. Average price on their research targets is about 2 and almost 3 times where we currently trade today. We've got about 40% institutional ownership with 20% in retail float. So this is a tight capital structure with good solid ownership. Here's our leadership team at Revival Gold. I'm a mining engineer by training. I came up through the ranks at Placer Dome and then went on to Kinross Gold and retired from Kinross in late 2009, having been part of taking that company from 1.7 billion market cap to 17 billion market cap. Our non-executive chairman is Wayne Hubert. He led Andean Resources from $100 million market cap to a takeout by Goldcorp for $3 billion a few years later. He also happens to be the former finance director for the Beartrack operation when it was in operation back in the 90s. We've also got the former general manager from the site, Pete Blakely, and our VP Exploration did his master's in Idaho. Along with that, we've got a strong permitting team with Deborah Strusacker and Opal Adams, and leadership from a technical and construction point of view with Rod Cooper, former colleague of mine from Kinross Gold. Our CFO, just to round the group out, is Adam Rukasowicz. Adam's worked with both large and smaller companies and is a perfect skill set for a company at our stage of growth. Revival is focused in Idaho with the Beartrack-Arnett project in the eastern part of the state. Why Idaho? Because Idaho has great mineral potential. It's also got great human capital. A lot of history in mining and exploration in the state. In fact, one of our claims dates back to the first governor of the state of Idaho. So there's a long history of exploration and mining. More recently, the Fraser Institute has recognized Idaho as one of the top jurisdictions in the world for investment in exploration and mining. In fact, ahead of all the provinces and territories of Canada. Our project, the Beartrack-Arnett Gold Project, was a 100,000 ounce a year producer back in the 90s. It was shut in 2000 when the price of gold went below $300 an ounce, and it really sat unnoticed until we came along in 2017, 2018, and consolidated the neighboring land position and then put together through an arrangement with Yamana Gold the neighboring Beartrack project. Together, Beartrack-Arnett now hosts 3 million ounces of resource, of which about 1.3 million ounces are in the indicated category and about 1.6 million ounces are in the inferred category. Our finding cost to date has been below $5 an ounce, which just goes to show that we've got an efficient team and a really exciting ore body with lots of potential to deliver. Deposits open in all directions. We're currently pursuing a first phase heap leach project on the heap leach portion of the resource. In the longer run, what we want to do is build out a mill and tackle the potential for the larger deposit which sits in sulfides. This is our land position, about 13,000 acres, 5,400 hectares. The yellow shading is the footprint of the existing resource at Beartrack-Arnett. As I said, open in all directions. And the brown shading on this slide describes our key exploration target areas. Notably, over in the Haiti area where we're currently drilling, the deposit is open in all directions. This is noted as 1 on this slide. Also, between the north and the south pits, noted as number 2 on this slide, where we're also drilling and where we see potential for continuation of the Panther Creek fault, which hosts all of the mineralization on the Beartrack side of the property position. We'll also be drilling this year in the Joss area at the southern tip of the known mineralization, and we'll be reaching out a further 3 kilometers south of the footprint of the existing resource in the Rabbit area, an undercover target that is yet to be drilled and is really salivating to the geologists because it's in the confluence of a number of structural intercepts which make for a very good drill target for gold exploration. This is a long section through the Beartrack deposit. You can see that the deposit extends over 5.6 kilometers in strike. And in the areas where the deposit's noted as open, really we're only restricted by drilling in the sense that where we have not drilled, we obviously don't have resource, but those opportunities are still open for us to drill. And in fact, we'll be following up on this area between the north and south pit this year. Also, as I said earlier, down in the south end of the deposit on the left side of the page at Joss. Intercepts in this deposit run between about 15 and 115 meters and 1.5 grams to 2 grams per ton, notably open at depth. And here you can see we've got some higher grades in the system, including 10 meters of 71 grams in the Wards Gulch area. We've got other higher grade intercepts throughout the deposit. And as we get to understand the ore body a bit better, we'll certainly be following up on some of the deeper targets in the system. The deposit's open at depth, it's been drilled down to 600 meters, and we still have potential beyond. This describes the evolution of the deposit growth at Beartrack. On the Beartrack side of the property position, the mineralization is hosted within the Panther Creek shear zone. And you can see from 1996 the evolution of the deposit through to today. As we picked up the pace of drilling in 2017, 2018, 2019, the deposit has continued to grow and it's open in all directions. Quickly, a slide on the geology, the underlying geology. This is an aeromagnetic geophysical survey for the land position at Beartrack-Arnett. 2 things to note here. First of all, we've got the confluence of structures in the southern end of the property position in the area at Rabbit. And this is very exciting for the geologists. Although it's undercover, these structures are indicative of an area that's permissive of gold mineralization. And we have the proof of mineralization in structures to the north. So very excited to be drilling at Rabbit this year. And we're also very intrigued by this mag high that sits underneath the satellite deposit on the left branch of the property position at Haiti, where we've got a 2-kilometer anomaly that sits underneath oxide gold mineralization on surface. Beyond that mineralization at Haiti, we've got a number of target opportunities across the Arnett block of the property position, as described in this geochem soil survey which we conducted last year. Lots of targets for follow-up and future drilling. This year's drilling initially started in the Haiti area at Beartrack. We have 2 rigs drilling up there right now, and they're winding up about 5,000 meters of drilling focused on extending the deposit and also on infill drilling. The rigs will then move over to the Beartrack side of the property. In fact, we already have a 3rd rig that's started up in between the north pit and the south pit area where we're drilling the target there. and then we'll be down into the Joss area and then into the Rabbit area. All of these targets have opportunity for significant exploration potential, and we'll be following up with news over the next months ahead. One of the great things about Beartrack-Arnett is we've got this long history of successful gold production from a heap leach operation. And so we have a lot of heap leach information with respect to Beartrack. We've also got a lot of data and test work that's been done on the Arnett side of the property position. So we've got good confidence on our leach potential at Beartrack-Arnett. Beyond that, we've got this large sulfide or mill ore body. It accounts for about 2.4 million ounces of the 3 million ounces, and we think that's just going to continue to grow. We've undertaken 2 phases of metallurgical testing on the mill material at Beartrack-Arnett, and we've got an average recovery of 94%. So this material is going to be very productive in a well-understood flow sheet, and this gives us good confidence to continue to build out that resource at Beartrack. The other thing about the Beartrack site, apart from the fact that we've got all this metallurgical history and data, is that we've got a lot of infrastructure. We've got power to site, we've got roads, we're about an hour from a town of 3,000 people, which means no requirement for a camp here. And we've got this ADR facility, leach ponds, we've got a cyanidation permit. These things are going to give us a head start in terms of our capital and in terms of our permitting for a potential restart of the heap leach operation at Beartrack. I know that investors today are very focused on the ESG, or environment, social, and governance. I would say that our pedigree and our background, our DNA at Revival Gold is very strong on these points. We come into it from a point of view of solid governance with an independent, non-executive chairman on the board. From an environmental point of view, I would say we've got an outstanding site with an outstanding track record of performance on environmental criteria, and we continue that with that going forward in terms of the way we operate on site. Finally, I'd say from a social point of view, because of the successful operation, the successful track record of Beartrack in the past, we have community support, and we have support from the state government of Idaho for responsible mining generally. The government of Idaho understands that there is an important role that responsible mining can play in the fabric of the economy, and particularly in rural jurisdictions like Lemhi County, where we're based. So what's next with Revival Gold? Well, we started out the year by putting out a new resource. That was 3 million ounces of gold. And then in August, we completed a $15 million bought deal financing through BMO. We immediately set ourselves to drilling with 2 drill rigs. We added a third into the season, and we'll continue drilling through the course of October, November, and into December. The results from that drilling will come out over the months ahead. Meanwhile, we've been underway with a PEA with respect to the heap leach restart of the operation, and we'll have that PEA out into the market before the end of this year. Next year, I expect we'll be back drilling and doing geotechnical and other technical work with respect to the heap leach restart project, and we'll be into a resource update and a PFS by the end of next year. I can't leave this presentation without saying something about underlying value. Currently, Revival Gold trades at about $16 an ounce in the ground. I would say that's a steep discount to many of our peers. And if you consider that our grade is stronger than many of our peers, pictured on the x-axis in this slide, that sets us up for a really big re-rate in the stock as we put out news and add economics into the equation. We've got a lot of catalysts this year: resource development drilling, blue sky exploration drilling in the Rabbit area, and of course the PEA on the heap leach restart, which is to come. Finally, I would just note the one thing about the Beartrack-Arnett gold deposit that separates us from many of our peers is that we are pure gold, 100% exposure to gold. Really, just to sum it up, this is a wonderful opportunity and a wonderful time for gold and for Revival Gold. We've got a veteran gold team. We've got a fully funded program for the next 2 seasons. We're underway with 10,000 meters of drilling, so lots of news flow to come. And we also are completing a PEA, which will be out before the end of this year. We've got a proven property, largest past producing gold mine in the state of Idaho. And this gives us a significant head start in terms of our capital program and in terms of our permitting. Finally, I'd say this is a compelling time to be investing in Revival Gold. We're trading at a very attractive $16 an ounce in the ground. We're in a great gold price environment with lots of upside to come. So we've got both good value and good geography going for us. Thank you for attending this presentation, and we welcome questions. If there is any interest, please go to our website, www.revival-gold.com.